Hello, you're listening to the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. My name is Reichen Young, a student in the Acting Company for Excellence and host of the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. Today we are talking to Cheryl Lowber. Miss Cheryl is the managing director for the NTPA Dallas location and head of acting for the NTPA Academy. She holds a BA in theater from Oklahoma Baptist University and an FMA in acting from Southern Methodist University. Miss Cheryl is a director and acting coach and a professional actor who has appeared on stage in New York City and South Korea. Welcome, Miss Cheryl.
Hi.
It's so awesome to have you here. I'm so excited to interview you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right. So you have had quite a career in theater as a professional working actor. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I started, I kind of found acting when I was in high school, and then I decided that that's what I wanted to do. I went through like a series of things that I wanted to be whenever I was growing up. I wanted to be a veterinarian, and then I wanted to be a CEO, and then I wanted to be a doctor, and then I wanted to be all these other things. I was like, no, I just want to play them on TV. I got into acting, and I love telling stories. And so I decided to go to school for that and get my theater degree. And then I started auditioning and working in the DFW area for various theater companies, and then decided I wanted a little more training, and so then I went to get my MFA in acting from SMU, and then after that I just kind of went out and started working at some professional theaters around town. I lived in New York for a while, did that. My husband and I decided we wanted to see the world before we had children, so we went to South Korea, and then I was like, oh, there's your Eurasia Shakespeare Theater Company here, let me audition for that, and then I did that in Seoul. So yeah, it's the career in theater as a professional working actor is very hodgepodge. You're constantly having to have multiple streams of income. So, you wait tables while you're also auditioning and sending out videos and doing voiceovers and all of that stuff. So never a dull moment.
Well, there you go. What were like a handful of the companies that you worked for?
I have worked for Theater 3 here in Dallas.
Oh, nice.
I worked for Stage West in Fort Worth. I have done a show at Dallas Theater Center. I also did a few staged readings for some companies in New York, and Eurasia Shakespeare Theater Company in Seoul, South Korea, and then also most recently Shakespeare Dallas here in Dallas.
So can you describe what it's like to perform professionally? Every night in front of an audience? I bet it's exhilarating and exhausting. It
is. It's really, really fun. It's a very different experience than what we have here at NTPA. So it's, you rehearse 6 nights a week. And then when you actually perform, you're usually doing about 8 shows per week. I know at Theater 3, back in the day, whenever I was there, pre-kids, we did, I think we had 8 shows a week for 4 weeks.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it is very, very tiring, especially because usually you have a day job on top of that. You talk about loving what you do, and I love it, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to get to be somebody else, but more importantly, to have those truthful moments on stage. And when you actually have those rare moments of truth on stage, it is the best feeling in the world. And it is exhilarating, and you're like, oh my gosh, that happened. That actually happened right now. And then you have to let that go because you're going to miss your next moment if you're not in it.
Yes.
So it's a career like no other.
So do you have a story you can share with us about perseverance and what it takes to break into the industry as a professional actor?
Perseverance, sure. So speaking of Shakespeare Dallas.
Oh.
I started auditioning for them. I'm not going to say how old I am, but I started auditioning for them when I was much younger. It took me 15 years of auditions and callbacks. Every single time I auditioned, I got a callback to actually book a show.
Wow.
But I really wanted to work for them. Shakespeare's kind of my thing. I really love the text. I love teaching it. I love directing it. I love acting in Shakespeare shows. And so I just really, really wanted to work for them. And so I just kept trying. And then eventually I got to be Titania in A Midsummer Night's Dream this past summer. And it was great. So as far as that's perseverance. You just have to keep trying, you're going to get a lot of no's. So, and you have to learn how, and this is something I still struggle with, and it's not an easy thing, to not take it personally, to not feel like when you get a no, it means you're bad at what you do, or you're not worthy, or you're not good enough. It just means you weren't the right puzzle piece for that puzzle. And that's a really hard thing to accept, but it's absolutely necessary. You have to find that internal validation where you feel like you know your worth, and you know what you're capable of, and you know that you're competent and you're good at what you do, and not look for that outside, for a director to tell you that, or for the audience to tell you that, for a critic to tell you that. You have to know that for yourself, because if you don't know that for yourself, it's going to be a very long, hard road for you. And
true.
You're just going to keep getting knocked down, and eventually you're not going to get back up.
You have to have so much perseverance and grit also to keep on working. I mean, as you said, like 15 years, like that's insane that you kept that up for that long, and it completely paid off. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm finally in a show. So that's amazing.
Let's hope they hire me back.
Yes, please. So you're now the managing director for NTPA Dallas. What plans do you have for the future of that location?
Well, I would obviously love to see it grow. I would love to get more students from the Dallas area into our shows. I also would love to eventually have a space where we can perform our shows. I mean, we have a black box, which is great, and we love our black box. I just directed Macbeth there this summer, and it was really fun. Like, we kind of created this whole ambiance with it. But I would love us to have more performance spaces eventually, and that's like down the road, obviously.
Of course.
But that, and also I would love us to create in Dallas a family feel, where it's someplace where everybody feels like they can go, and everybody feels like they're part of the family, and everybody's there to work together to tell some great stories.
It's very important to have not only just the cast, but also like including the director and choreographer, everybody to feel kind of, as you said, like a family. It makes the show run a lot smoother, and it really it greases the gears to keep on going. So that's definitely very important. You were also the head of the acting company for the NTPA Academy. What do you hope students learn through the acting program that will serve them when they graduate?
Well, obviously, I would love them to learn good technique. If they can leave our space knowing acting theory 101 and understanding it, like you have to have an objective, you have obstacles, you have to have tactics in order to achieve your objective. If they can understand all of those things going into an acting program, I think that will serve them. More importantly, though, what I want them to learn is empathy. I think that is super important. So even if they decide not to go into theater, they decide not to go into acting or any part of theater, I want them to walk away having lived in someone else's shoes for a while. And I think that will serve you later in life if you're able to see things from another perspective. And I think that acting really helps you to do that. It makes you a more empathetic person. I think that it makes you a well-rounded person. It helps you to see things from other perspectives. And I hope that they walk away with being able to do that.
Yeah, empathetic and well-rounded and educated is like they're very important words that I do think a lot of people really need to understand and know. So I'm glad you said that. And now, what advice would you give to students who want to pursue theater as a career?
This is a really tough question because you can give all the advice in the world and everybody's path is going to be different.
Exactly.
So I think I would give them the same advice that I would give to anybody going into any career. Budget. Budget. Like, know your financial plan. Have some goals for yourself. Okay. Like, why are you going into theater? What do you hope that it accomplishes? What do you want to do? Also, like, know what you're getting into. Talk to people who are in the industry that are doing what you want to do. And then find out from them, what did they do? How did they get there? But here's the deal. everybody's answer is going to be different.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, life throws curveballs at you and you just have to kind of roll with them. I would say, as I was saying earlier, like develop internal validation. You have to be able to tell yourself that you are competent, you are worthy, you are good at what you do, and you can always get better.
Yes.
Like, you don't know it all. I think that that's another thing, is you will never know it all. You constantly have to have a growth mindset. And then also budget.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's a lot of things that you don't know about it that I think are really important. Know financial implications of decisions, but then also know that there are many, many jobs in theater. And if you love theater itself and you love the storytelling aspect, and you love the art form itself, there are so many ways and so many jobs that you can have that allow you to contribute to the art form itself. So don't limit yourself.
You definitely need to take into account, like, okay, how is my life going to change? How am I going to change even? Like, where am I going to move to? How am I going to spend my money? So I really appreciate that you said that answer. And now, Miss Cheryl, it is time for 5 quick questions.
Oh my gosh, okay.
We ask every guest the same 5 quick questions. You must answer every question quickly and without explanation. Are you ready?
Yes.
What was the name of the first show you performed in?
Little Christmas Lamb.
What is your favorite show?
Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, what is your favorite role you've performed?
Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, what is your dream role?
Other than Beatrice and Much Ado About Nothing, I would say Gertrude, Hamlet.
Oh, yes. And what is your favorite candy?
Twix or Twizzlers.
Ooh. Thank you so much, Miss Cheryl, for talking with us on the Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast. And until next time, I'm Reichen Young. Remember, you always have a winning hand with an ace up your sleeve. The Ace Up Your Sleeve podcast is brought to you by the students of the Acting Company for Excellence at North Texas Performing Arts. This podcast was created by Reichen Young, with sound design and editing by Latham Young. Faculty supervision is provided by Hannah Brewer. NTPA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing the character of youth through quality performing arts education and family entertainment. Learn more about upcoming programs and events at ntpa.org.